So the penultimate round of the Women's Six Nations is done and dusted. And there were wins for England, France, and also the first win of the tournament for Italy. So obviously the table's shaped up like this. It's going to be exciting going into the final round next weekend, where there's Super Saturday, so 3 games all at once. So be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so that you don't miss that Thursday evening video. And also a massive well done to Stinson, who's topping the JG Rugby League at the moment, and also second in the whole world. So massive congrats. Hopefully you can keep your place and maybe tip first in the whole world. But without further ado, let's see how I did for round 4. So first off, in the front row, I think my return was pretty decent. So of course, we'll start with Scaldon, who was the lowest point scorer, but 26 isn't actually too bad. And especially in a loss as well. Maybe she could have had a try or two, but it didn't work out that way. And obviously Scotland lost, so I'm not too disappointed with 26. And then we've got Batoni, who scored well over 50 points again, so she's just been absolutely amazing for Italy at the moment. And she also scored that try, which boosted her points right up. And obviously Byrne, who scored another try and over 70 points once again. So she's absolutely on fire, and her value in the game just keeps rising and rising. So if she's not in your team, definitely have her for next week against France. Then it's my second row, where I always seem to fall down a little. But Duca did score me 30 odd points, so that was a big positive for me. But then again, Crab didn't do too well with 9 points. Obviously Wales lost quite heavily to France, so I think I'll probably be rethinking, even though I say this quite often, my second row strategy for next week. Picking a Welsh player hasn't seemed to benefit me so far. So maybe an England one or a French one, but that game will be tough too. So we'll have to see next week. I'm pretty pleased with my back row as well. Veronese actually did come off a little early in the game, so even though it was a good win for Italy, she could have scored more points late on, but 30 odd, I'll take it. And then Menage obviously had a great game for France. All my French players performed pretty well, and she was the worst performing, so 40 odd points, I can't be mad. And then obviously Gallagher for Scotland, she started at 8, and obviously with the loss to Italy, 50 points sounds absolutely brilliant. No try as well, so she just pure hard carrying, tackles and breaking the gain line. So massive well done to Gallagher. I'll be having my eye out on her for next week as well. This halfback pairing for me worked absolutely brilliantly. Obviously Sansu smashed it. If she was your captain, massive congrats to you. She scored almost 100 points. And she always seems to get taken off as well, but she just performs absolutely brilliantly with the time that she's on the pitch. Nelson as well as my 10, she started at 12 for Scotland. In a loss, 40 odd points is actually decent as well. She kicked very well, so I can't be mad at her. Once again, 2 pretty decent picks here at halfbacks. In the centre, obviously Scarrett was my captain. She scored well over 50 odd points and was nominated for Player of the Round. And seeing as though she was nominated for Player of the Round, you would have thought that her points would be significantly higher. But it didn't turn out that way. So I guess one of my regrets for this team was not putting Sansus as captain. But you can't be mad at 50 points. And then obviously Jacquet, who is in the centre in this game but started at fullback for France. She scored well over 60 points and also got a try. So these 2 centres worked pretty well for me. Might be keeping them for next week, I might not. I might switch back to Hannah Jones for Wales if she has an easier fixture, but we'll have to wait and see. And then it's my back 3. So Jess Breach came off early with a head injury, which was quite a nasty one really. So she only scored 27 points. So could have had another forward in like Marley Packer, who scored well over 100 points. But it's all in hindsight, isn't it? Jess Breach could have scored a hat-trick and then I wouldn't be saying this. Boujard on a return got a try, so scored well over 60 points, so can't complain with her at all. And Furlan, even though she scored a hat-trick in last year's fixture against Scotland, she just scored under 40 points. But she did come off early, and she also came off for a head injury assessment. So watching the game I was a little panicky, but she did manage to get almost 40 points. And then there's my bench. So Rona Lloyd, not great, but not too bad either. Obviously she lost, it was a punt to take a Scottish, but it didn't work out that well. But she did manage to get more than Crab, who actually started. But probably the pick of the round was Ellie Kildun, who scored me well over 200 points as my super sub. Watching the game, Cleo got 2 tries as well, and I was ruined not picking her. But Kildun did get that second late try on. So couldn't be happier with this, and there was probably quite a few of you who picked her as well. So this just shows that putting your super sub as, say, an England or France, who are usually strong favourites, is a real asset. So that's the end of the round 4 roundup. Obviously next Saturday we have Super Saturday, which is the final round of the Women's Six Nations. England against France seems to be such a tasty game. Whoever wins the Grand Slam, so all to play for. And also for us fantasy players, it's just a great time because all the games happen in one day, so it's so frantic. So be sure to turn notifications on and subscribe so you don't miss out on the team selection video, which will probably come out Thursday evening. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.